Okay, good morning, drama students. Today we have our live drama lesson, and our learning objective is to understand what is a monologue. So, monologue is a part of component number two, which you need to submit by next year. So, it is part of component number two for drama GCSE. So, our success criteria is should know the basics of interrogating a script. Some will have a good understanding of interrogating a script, and a few may be confident interrogating a script and be able to apply this to a performance of a monologue. So for our starter, I will be playing this YouTube clip of an inspector calls, and there are a few questions. Can I ask somebody to read our questions, please? Rachel, would you like to read our questions, please?
Yes, sir. So, for the starter questions, we have after watching, answer the following questions. Question one: What you thought about the scene? What did you think about the scene? Actually, what did you think about the scene? So, after watching the scene, we have to say what we thought. The second
Mm-hmm.
question is what was his tone? So, we have to talk about his tone. And the third question is what was he saying?
Okay, so these
His
are three
dialogue.
questions. Thank you so much, Rachel. So these are again three questions that I want you to answer after watching this clip. So I'll be playing the clip now, and please watch and jot down notes.
But just remember this. There are millions and millions of Eva Smiths and John Smiths still left with us with their lives and hopes and fears. There's suffering and chance of happiness all intertwined with our lives and what we think and say and do. We don't live alone upon this earth. We are responsible for each other. And if mankind will not learn that lesson, then the time will come soon when he will be taught it in fire and blood and anguish. Good night.
Okay, at this point, I'll be sharing a whiteboard to the class. And on this whiteboard, I want you to write one word answer as to what you think the tone was, what you thought about this scene, and what was the message of Mr. Gould or Inspector Gould on this particular scene. So give me a few minutes. I would like to share the whiteboard. Okay, so now you are on the whiteboard, and everybody, I want you to write one word that pertains to the scene that you have just watched. So I'll start. So I want you to comment on the tone. I want you to comment on the tone. What was the message of that particular scene? And what are your thoughts? Can you start jotting down on the whiteboard, please? Can I have somebody answer the following questions? Question number one: what did you think of that scene? Anybody?
Sir, I feel like Mr. Gu, he felt pity for how egoistic the family was that they
Mm-hmm.
couldn't realize that they had done something wrong. So like I
Mm-hmm.
feel like he had pity for them. And the tone he
Okay.
was in, it was a lower kind of tone. Like he wasn't
Okay.
shouting, so he wouldn't raise his tone, but he was more of informing them and telling them that, what you did is wrong. So I
Okay.
feel like it was a lower tone.
What do you think was the message of that scene, guys?
Sir, I feel like it's the call of action to all of the show,
Yes,
and
true.
it also like tells our audience that this is what the whole thing is about. This is
Mm-hmm.
what the values are in the whole show.
Okay. So basically, what you have just seen is a monologue of Inspector Gould from An Inspector Calls. So again, as a recap, what do why do we have monologues, or what are the importance of it? What is the importance of a monologue in a play? Anybody? What do you think is the importance of a monologue in a play?
It expresses their thoughts and feelings. Monologue is used to deliver speeches about the
Okay,
character.
wonderful. Wonderful. So we get into the head or into the mind of the character delivering the monologue. So we get to know their thoughts, their emotions, their feelings. Are you seeing the PPT, guys?
Yes, sir.
So a monologue in theater is a speech presented by a single character, most often to express their mental thoughts aloud, though sometimes also to directly address another character or the audience. Monologues are common across the range of dramatic media as well as in non-dramatic media such as poetry. Now, I have here on slide number 4 an example of a monologue. Can I have somebody just read it for us for the meantime? Anybody? Anybody would like to read this monologue?
Um,
Sure, I'll volunteer. Oh, okay. Who was
no,
gonna
no,
do
it's
it?
okay. You go.
Okay.
It's okay. You can go.
Sir, do I use the emotions in it or
No,
just read
not
it
yet.
out?
Just read it. Just read it, please.
Okay. Peggy, sit down on the chair and open magazine. My daughter can be a right pain sometimes. She never, no matter how often I tell her, remembers to clean the mugs from her room. It drives me mad. One cup I found had so much mold in it. It has started evolving into a more intellectual species. Put, puts magazine down in a
Mm-hmm.
huff, looks at audience. And you know what? She never has her phone on. There's me worrying about where she has got to, and I can't even phone her. I am not trying to check up on her, but it would be nice to know where she was occasionally. Pause. But I will miss her when she leaves home. She will always offer to make me a cup of tea when I am feeling tired. Bless her. She always does the cooking on a Friday night as well, a lovely spag bowl. The only
That's a
thing she
spaghetti
can
bowl.
cook. Oh,
That's fine.
okay.
Continue.
The only the only thing she can cook in mind, but it's lovely. The only thing she can cook in mind, but it's lovely. I know I complain and nag at her, but I will miss her so much when she's gone.
Okay, let's go to the next slide. What are we looking for? So, first bullet point, identify stage directions if there are any. Number two bullet point, highlight any key mood changes within the text. These may include varying pace and tone in delivery. What does pace mean, or what does tone mean? In a second color, highlight keywords within the text. In the third color, note the overall shape and climax within a scene. So, do we understand what we're working on? Yes or no? Anybody?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here's what you need to do. Get a copy, print out a copy of slide number 4. We are analyzing this monologue. What I want you to do is to highlight any stage directions, if there are any. And you know where stage directions are. How do we know that it is a stage direction? Anybody?
It's in brackets.
They're in bracket.
Yes, wonderful. They are in brackets. Why are stage directions important?
It lets the actor know what to do.
Yes, so your actions, where to go, what's your emotion is, okay? Now, highlight any key mood changes within the text. This may include varying pace and tone and delivery. So here's what you need to do on the next bullet point. If you are going to act out as Peggy using this monologue, where will you change your mood? Where will you vary your pace and your tone? Where will you speak slowly? Where in this particular monologue will you speak faster? Where in this uh, monologue will you speak in a high pitched tone or in a lower tone? So use a different highlighter for identifying the pace and the tone. Okay, so you might want to use a pink highlighter for pace and tone. Read it, and if you're going to deliver it as Peggy, where will you change your pace? Where will you change your tone? Use another color to highlight the keywords within the text. Okay, so the most important keywords, to highlight them in a different color. And on a third color, note the climax within the scene. So what is a climax? Anybody? What's a climax? Guys,
The part of the story where there's more action.
it is the most interesting part of the story.
It's
So yes,
it's the turning point
it's a
of the
turning
play.
point. It's the most exciting point in the story. So here in this monologue, where do you think is the most exciting part or the turning point in this monologue? Highlight it with another color. Okay? Now, basically, what you need to submit to me is slide number 4, highlighted, annotated with different colors, and how you are going to actually deliver it if you are doing this monologue. Okay? Got it, guys? Or do we have any questions?